Hey guys, welcome to this live. I'm Kodishwaran and I'll be taking you guys through this particular live. Um, okay, so just give me 1 second. I'll just check if everything is all right. I'm just checking the comment section. Okay, there are a lot of comments already. When will you start? Okay, so sorry for the slight delay, guys. So we're gonna start right now. So first, let me just tell you what we'll be doing in this session, and then let me start with the actual session. So I'll be just giving you a brief about AWS. First, what is it? Why do you have to start learning AWS, right? So once that is done, I'll be taking you through the console. I'll be showing you how you can start with AWS, how to create an account. That's very basic. I'll show you that. Once that is done, I'll be showing you how to start with AWS. That is, I'll show you how to create a server in AWS and how to run a web server inside of it. And you can basically see a web page in it, right? Uh, okay, so that's what we're going to do in this particular session. So just give me 1 second, guys. So I want to share my screen. So I hope you guys can see this. Just give me 1 second. I'll change the view. Yep. Okay. So now I hope you guys can see this, right? If you can just tell me. Just give me also 1 second. I'll open this in the stream. Yeah. So I was just checking in my phone, right? Got it. Okay. So guys, we can start. Basically, first let's understand what is AWS. But before understanding what is AWS, let's just go through what exactly is cloud, right? So cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of services over the internet. So to make it very simple, it's basically, let's say, any person who's giving you a service via an internet is providing you a cloud service. It could be a software, it could be a platform, and also it could be infrastructure, right? So a service in the sense, a software in the sense, Gmail is the cloud service. Gmail is a software as a service, but it's still a cloud service. Okay, but why? Because they are giving it to you over the internet. You do not know where Gmail's code is stored. You do not know where your emails are getting stored. You do not know where how exactly it works. So that and all is not shown to you. It is stored in Google's data center, right? So it's not shown to you, but you're still able to use that software. So they are providing you the software over the internet. You are able to use the software using the internet. So that's basically software as a service, and it's a type of cloud service. And then there is platform as a service. Sorry. So and there is platform as a service, which is basically where they provide you a platform over the internet. For example, there is something called Elastic Beanstalk in AWS, which is a platform as a service. So that platform is given to you so that you can upload your code to it, and it'll automatically host the website for you and give you the URL. So you don't have to provision a server and then install all the softwares and upload your files into that and then configure the entire web server. It's not necessary. You just have to choose the runtime. That is, you can, if let's say you created your application on Python or Java, choose the runtime, upload your code, and then that's it. It'll automatically provision all the servers for you. It'll automatically do all the things you need for your web page to run for you, right? And it'll manage it. So that is called platform as a service. So now let's say you want a server where you're given a plain server where you can install whatever you want. You're given OS level permissions. That is, you can install softwares, you can change some settings, you can change the process settings and everything. So in that case, they're providing you infrastructure as a service. So AWS is providing you infrastructure as a service. That basically means they have their own data center. They have their own physical hardware. So that physical hardware is basically given to you. It's rented to you. You are able to create a server, but that server will get created in AWS's data center, and that particular So once the server is created in AWS's data center, the details of that server will be given back to you, and you can use that details to log in into the server and start using it like a normal computer. So I'll be showing you guys how to create one. So don't go anywhere if you are already in the session. So if you want to know how to create a server and set up a web server, stay in the session. We'll be seeing that. Before starting with the actual demo part, I'll just give another 5 minutes of theory, because obviously theory is boring and I don't want to take much of your time with this. So I'll just tell you what AWS is and talk about the global infrastructure, and then I'll just see if there are any questions. So once you see the questions, then I'll move on to the demo. Okay, so first let me just check this. So there is one question from Pratyush. How is the server created in the AWS data center? So okay, so it's a pretty simple thing. So they have a software called the hypervisor running in the AWS data center. So hypervisor is a software which will basically virtualize the server for you in their physical hardware. So if you want to know more about hypervisors, just type hypervisor in Google. It's basically a software to virtualize. For example, let's say you want to create, you have a Windows laptop and you want to run a Linux operating system in your system over the Windows operating system. That is, you want to create a local virtual machine, right? In that particular case, you can use a software which will act as an hypervisor, right? So that hypervisor will enable you to create the server. Also, just give me 1 second, guys. Sorry for that. Okay, I'm sharing my screen again. Got it. Okay, so now back to what AWS is, right? Okay, so now I was talking about how a server was created. So the hypervisor creates the server in AWS's data center, and that gives back the details of the server to you, and you can use the details to log in into the server. So it's a much bigger concept, but to understand the very basic, there is a software in the physical hardware called the hypervisor that helps in creating the servers. So that's it. And let me see another one. What does EC2 mean? So EC2 is a service in AWS which is called Elastic Compute Cloud. That's why EC2. It basically is the service which I'm going to create today, which I'm going to create a server with today and show you how to do it. So it's basically a service to create instances. It's a service to create servers. You can create Linux servers, Windows servers, Mac servers, and all that. Okay. Can we integrate this server for mobile application from Abhishek Chandran? Yes, you can do that. It's like a PC, right? So if it's a regular PC, you can run a mobile application in it. The code of mobile application can run in it, right? So the same thing, it can still run in a EC2 server. You can create a Windows server and still run your mobile applications code in that. You can host your code in that. Yes, it's possible. Um, AWS provide free service. Yes, actually there is something, a free tier. So if you create an account for 12 months, there is some free tier capabilities which AWS provides you. I'll show you guys that. So please wait, Suraj. I'll show you what exactly is free. And one last question I'll answer right now and then move on. From Golam Murtaba. So what is Lambda? So Lambda is again another service. So you can call it as code as a service or function as a service. So in this case, it's not even a platform. You will be given a platform, but you put in your code. So let's say whenever let's say you create an application and the application does image processing. Whenever somebody uploads an application and click on process, you want the image to be processed into a black and white image. Okay. So now the code for that transformation of a normal image into a black and white image is in Lambda. And then when you click on upload, only then that Lambda code will get triggered and the Lambda code will run for however long it runs, so that it basically does what it's supposed to do, and then it'll stop running, and then that result will be sent back. So now you will only have to pay for the seconds which the service ran. So if the Lambda code only took 4 seconds to run, you only will have to pay AWS for the 4 seconds of the running time. So this is basically really cost effective. That's why people prefer Lambda for these type of let's say backend or simple processing tasks, or even huge processing tasks which just requires to run the code in a really fast server. So you don't have to set up anything. You just put your code, choose the runtime, and set up your trigger, and that's it. It'll work properly. Yeah, so that's basically Lambda. Okay, guys, so that was the questions. So I'm just gonna go start with this actual session. So AWS is, so we were talking about cloud services, right? AWS is a company which is owned by Amazon. So that's why it's called Amazon Web Services, and they provide you these cloud services. So it's again the world's biggest cloud service. So they started in the year 2006, and they got a big head start before Google and Microsoft came into this domain. And because of that, they are currently the huge income driver for the Amazon conglomerate, right? And also they have 200 plus services. They basically power so many large organizations, even government, even NASA uses uh, AWS for certain actions. Okay, so one more thing I wanted to say, you guys would know Netflix, obviously. It's the biggest video streaming platform in the world, right? So now Netflix uses AWS completely for every single aspect. It it runs on AWS. The analytics is running on AWS. The data of Netflix is stored in AWS. So literally, Netflix uses AWS for everything, and Netflix is a really powerful and very lightweight application, right? If you use Netflix, even though there is not much data, it would still work. It's a pretty lightweight application. That's made possible because of AWS and obviously strongly written code. Okay. Uh, okay, so that's basically AWS, and then there is most extensive global cloud infrastructure. No other cloud provider offers. So just give me 1 second, guys. Yeah, so AWS has the most extensive global cloud infrastructure. No other cloud provider offers as many regions with multiple availability zones, supported by low latency, high throughput networking. So this is basically makes migration even easier. So let's say you have an application in India and you have an application in AWS because your application is already running in India AWS, because your application is already running in India AWS. You just have to migrate and duplicate the services in US, and that's it. The application will automatically run. Okay, guys, I'm not going to go into certifications. And before we start with the demo, just give me 1 second. I'll just stop sharing my screen and I'll log in into my AWS account. Uh, and also just give me 1 second. Is my voice proper now? Is it better? I hope it's better. If my voice is audible and if it's clear, please tell me, guys, because I got like two, uh, three people commenting about voice. We can hear a lot of background noise. Okay, I'm sorry for that. It's actually my cat. Uh, I'm very sorry for that, but I can't stop him shouting. Okay, so I'll just try to keep my mic a little bit closer and talk so that the background noises is not clear. Okay, I hope if my voice is clear, that's good. Okay, so now I'll share my screen again. I'll start with the session. Okay, there are a few more questions which I want to answer. Okay, so first, let me open Amazon's website, aws or amazon.com. You can open this. Okay, so few obviously does, because every single software engineer using AWS. It doesn't matter. You just have to learn AWS. They all do pretty much the same thing. Um, how should I start learning AWS? This session, understand the basics first, the fundamentals of cloud computing, and then start off by learning first cloud, and then just get into it. There are so many documentations and tutorials available, even on YouTube, even our channel, Scalar channel. Tutorial which gives you basic to advanced concepts. You can just go through that and start learning. No question is there. I'll just answer that. It's loading. So which basic certifications uh, would you suggest to get started with AWS? Okay, so basic certifications, the most basic certification is cloud practitioner. But again, if you already have some expertise in cloud, don't go for cloud practitioner. Straight up go for solutions architect or sysops or the developer certification, right? Because you don't have to go for the cloud practitioner. It's a pretty basic certification. It is completely theoretical. So yeah. So but again, if you're actually a beginner, you can go with that. Okay, so this is the actual website. It's loading. It's taking some time to load. Okay, so this is the actual website where you can basically check out everything about AWS. And then somebody asked about the free tier, right? So this is the website, aws.amazon.com/free. So here all the details about all the free services are provided. So once you create an AWS account, you would be given 12 months of free trial. Okay, so the 12 months of free trial will basically contain all of these services within the 12 months free category. So EC2 also comes under the 12 months free category. So that's the service which we are going to use right now, right? Okay, so basically, just give me 1 second, guys. Again, I'm sorry for. Yeah, I'm back. So yeah, EC2. So again, as I told you guys, EC2 is a service which you're going to use, and they provide 750 hours of free trial. So free trial basically means you can use the service for a total of 750 hours for free. So let's say you're creating a server, and if the server's runtime is within 750 hours, you won't get charged anything. But if it's above 750 hours, let's say you've used it for 760 hours, so you will just have to pay for the 10 hours. But obviously, you're not going to run a server for 700 hours if you're going to just practice, right? You will practice for 3 hours and then stop the server or delete the server. You won't use it more than that. Even though you use it for 3 hours every single day, it'll still won't cross 750. Yeah, so these are the free things. You can just check out this website, aws.amazon.com/free. So you can check out everything here. So let me tell you how to create an AWS account first, and then log in into my account and start with the session. So just provide your email, the password, confirm password, and then just type a name. So I'm just going to go with something. Hmm. So this is the first step. So it's pretty simple. It's like creating a social media account. Just provide your email, provide your password, and provide your username, and then go ahead. Choose personal. Obviously, it's for practice, so choose personal always, and then provide your name. the phone number, the country, the address, city, province, and everything. So once that, you accept the agreement. Okay, then you move on, and then they will ask you for the payment details. So obviously you will have to provide the payment details, guys, to create an account. So you can provide debit or credit card details. uh, but again, when you provide your payment details, you will have to verify your card. So to verify your card, they will, if you're from India, they will take 2 rupees from your account. If you're from any other country, it will be an equivalent of that. So they will take it and they will credit it back in 3 days. So it's just to verify if your bank account is proper. So if you have a bank account or if you have a credit card and it's working, right? So they will do that, and then your account will be set up and you can start to use. Okay, so that's basically it. And then you can sign into your account. So I'm just going to sign in. So I'll just stop sharing my screen so that I could sign in first. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. I've logged in. Okay, I hope you guys can see the tab. Okay, so first let me just answer a few questions because there are a lot of questions again. From Ruchit, is there a way one can register for free tier without using credit card? No, that's not possible, Ruchit. You will have to provide a card. But again, they're not going to take up your money because they are providing you 12 months of free services. I think it's worth it. Uh, there's a question from Suraj. What is SaaS, Pass, and IaaS? So I explained it in the start of this session. So I don't want to take much of your time. So there is another video in cloud computing in our channel. You can just check it. I've explained it detailed, but I'll just give you a brief. SaaS is basically providing you a software over the internet. So like Gmail. Pass is providing you a platform where you can do some things which will automatically create the infrastructure behind it. Okay, so that's what I talked about, Elastic Beanstalk. You can check out what is Elastic Beanstalk. Then there is infrastructure as a service, where right now we are going to create a server. So providing you infrastructure over the internet is basically infrastructure as a service. Okay. From Saurav Sharma, but even it is running for 24 hours a day, it won't cross 750. Good thinking, but the thing is, you're not always going to run one server, right? Let's say you're running 3 servers. So 3 servers put together, it should be 750 hours. So if you're running 2 servers, again, it put together, it should be 750 hours. If both the servers are running 750 hours, then you will get billed for 750 hours, because overall, even though you run 100 servers, the total time all the servers are running together should be 750, and it should not cross more than 750. I hope that that answer is clear, Saurabh. Um, yeah, and also it should be the same server type. It should be t2.micro or t3.micro. I'll show you guys when creating the server. Um, from Anish, note to audience, please delete any services that is not used in service left running even without usage is considered as actively running in the cloud and you will be charged for the same. Yeah, so pretty much. So if you're creating an EC2 server and if you leave it running, you will get billed for it if it crosses the limit. So you can stop it, if you're going to use it immediately after like 2 hours or 3 hours, just stop it and use it. So during the stopped period, it won't get billed. If you have any storage, only the storage will get billed, but the server will not get billed. Okay, but let's say if you're not going to use it for quite a long time, for like 3-4 days, don't stop it, just terminate it. That is, delete the service. It's not just for EC2, it's for every single resource. It's a good practice. If you're just doing it for practice, then just delete the resources and create new when you're trying to practice again. So that's basically what Anish is saying. uh, which role of AWS doesn't involve coding? So the SysOps administrator certification, it doesn't involve coding because you're administering the cloud. You're not going to create any applications for the cloud. After BA, AWS is good or not for me. So again, AWS is good to learn at any single time, right? So you don't have to like wait for after completing a degree or do while doing a degree. AWS is always good. So learning new technology is always good for you. So learn it. It'll obviously help you in whatever career you're getting into in the tech field. Uh, from Anand Laha, SaaS, software as a service, yeah, correct. Uh, Infrastructure as a service. So infrastructure as a service is not AWS. AWS is the provider for infrastructure as a service. So EC2, the service AWS EC2 is an infrastructure as a service, right? So you will come. Okay, Anish also gave the answer for the R1 asked by Saurabh. Stop and deallocate if I'm correct. Yeah, so you can deallocate the volume as well if you don't need it. But again, it's better to terminate if you're just practicing it. So it's just better to terminate. It'll also terminate the volume. Uh, from Amit, which services are needed to learn in AWS for DevOps related? So for DevOps, AWS provides their own developer tools. So there is AWS, there is code commit, there is code deploy, there is code build and code pipeline. And there is also a new one, artifacts. So code artifacts. So these are the services you can learn, and they have ECS, Elastic Container Service. They have more services similar to that, right? So you can first check out these developer services, and there is also Code Guru in AWS. So these services you can learn if you're related, if you want to look at services related to DevOps. So there are two more questions. I'll just answer them quickly and start with the demo. I don't want to waste your time also, guys, because if you guys have been waiting for a long time. So what is the difference between IAS and Pass? So I've already explained this like twice in this session, Yoga. So please, once this session ends, please go back and look at it. But again, so in the comments itself, you can see from Anand Laha. So basically, infrastructure as a service is providing infrastructure over the internet to you, like a server. Pass is providing a platform to you where you can do some things and you don't have to worry about the infrastructure. Next is from Saiteja, as tech moving to decentralization. So will cloud be useful after 5 years? Yes, so cloud is still going to be there. Without cloud, you cannot do anything else. So even if it is decentralized, where will that be stored? So you would need data centers, right, to store your data. So even though it gets decentralized, you need physical hardware. Without physical hardware, you cannot decentralize anything. So the centralization, so the center of authority will be basically given to multiple authorities, but that doesn't change the fact that cloud is necessary. Can I use AWS services if I have AWS Educate? I think yes, you can use AWS services. I think they have a limit for it. How EC2 is IaaS? So okay, so that's what I'm going to talk to you about in the demo. So please wait, Bharat. So now let's start with the demo, guys. I hope I've answered some of the questions for you. Okay, now coming back. So I'm going to open the service EC2. Okay, so right now I don't have any instances running in my account. Okay, so I'm just going to click on instances. So you can see there are no running instances, or there are not even any other instances in stopped stage or in a terminated stage. Okay. Can we call infrastructure as a platform only? I don't think so. I don't think you can call that. It's infrastructure as a service. Platform as a service is quite different from infrastructure. Okay, so now guys, so from here on, I'm going to do the demo. So if you have your system with you, just if you already have an AWS account, you can follow through, or just note down the points what I'm showing you guys. Basically, what are the steps and what are the things to choose, right? Just note down, or this video will still be available once the live ends. It's going to be in our channel. You can come back and visit and follow through this particular hands-on and create your own server, right? Okay, so launch instances. Cool. So first thing you have to click on is launch instances. Just click on it, and then the first thing you have to choose while creating a server is the AMI. That's the Amazon Mission Image. So to give you a simple explanation about what AMI is, so let's say when you want to create a virtual machine in your local PC, so there is something called the ISO file. So ISO file has all the information about your operating system in order to install it, right? So the same thing in AWS, Amazon Mission Image is like an ISO file. So over here you can see an AMI is a template that contains software configuration, that is the operating system, the application server, and the applications required to launch your instance. So all the things necessary to launch your instance is available in the AMI. So when you're creating a server, AMI so that you will have to choose an AMI. For example, if you choose the, let's say, the Mac AMI, it will create a Mac operating system on your instance. If you choose the Ubuntu one, it will run the Ubuntu operating system on your instance, right? So that's basically why you need AMI. Okay, so the first thing you'll have to do is choose it. So I'm going to go with an Ubuntu server. So I'm going to choose Ubuntu 20.04. And also, as you're practicing, make sure you choose the AMI under free tier eligibility, right? So whatever server you're going to choose, it will be written as free tier. If you want to launch a Windows server, choose this one. If you're going to go with Ubuntu, choose this one. So whatever comes under free tier, you can choose it. You can also choose Amazon Linux. It's a Linux server. And then there is one more Debian. There's one more Windows free tier eligible. There's one more Windows. So you can just check what are under free tier category and you can choose them, right? Okay, I'm going to go with Ubuntu because it's one of the most popular operating systems and most people use it. So I'm just going to go with this. So I've selected my AMI, which is under a free tier eligibility. So, right. Okay, the next thing is you have to choose an instance type. So now let me just give you a brief about what instance type is. So instances are the servers running. So the instance type is the type of server you want. So let's say when you're trying to buy a laptop, you look at its configuration. So does it have SSD? How much RAM does it have? Let's say I need a laptop with 8 GB RAM. I need 512 GB of SSD. And then I need 1 TB of HDD, and then I need let's say the two dual core processor. So you see all this, right? Same thing is what instance type is. You're choosing the type of a server you need. So over here, this is the only free tier eligible instance type available, which will provide you 1 GB of RAM and provide you one core of CPU and EBS storage. So EBS is another AWS service. It's basically uh, a storage service which is necessary in EC2 to create an instance. So yeah, I'm not going to go in depth into EBS. I just wanted to tell you it's the service which is used for storage. So the AMI, right, the data of the operating system will be stored in the EBS volume. Okay, so that, well, it's like your hard disk. So your hard disk will be having the configuration files of your operating system, right? So if you don't have your SSD, then your laptop won't start because the operating system is installed in the SSD. Same thing goes here. The operating system is installed in the EBS volume. So without that, you cannot log in or launch. Okay, so select the free tier one. So also to just show you guys, so you can see there are really huge instances which are pretty expensive. So you can see here, so it has 96 core, 96 virtual CPUs and 384 gigabytes of RAM, right? And here, so this is again EBS, and over here SSD. This will be even faster. Okay, there are different types of instances. If you want to know about instance types, just go to AWS's documentation and search for instance types. They have a complete documentation explaining about each and every single instance, why do you need them. And yeah, so look at this instance. It's again 192 CPU cores and 768 gigabytes of RAM. Look at this 1152 gigabytes of RAM. These are pretty expensive servers. So don't even launch them for fun, because even if it runs for 2 to 3 minutes, you'll be charged a really huge amount. Okay, so this is, I just wanted to show you guys that there are so many instance types available. But again, for practice, go with the T2 family, T2.micro. Next, instance configuration details. So here you can select how many instances you can launch. You can launch in 100 instances or 1000 instances. You can launch 10 instances at the same time. You can launch 7 instances. So I'm just going to launch one for practice. Okay, and then I'm not going to go into the networking part, because again, it's a huge concept. There is already a video about VPC in our channel. You can check it out. If not, next week I'm going to do another live. So this is kind of a series. I'm doing another live. I'll be creating a simple AWS architecture. So in that particular live, I'll be using VPC. I'll be showing you how to create a VPC, how to create a public subnet, how to create a private subnet, and then I'll be launching some instances within those subnets and show you how they work. Okay, so that's what we'll be doing in the next live. And yeah, so you don't have to configure anything else over here. Just let it be like this. Just provide the number of instances you need, and it's going to be one. Again, for the first time when you're creating it, just start with one instance. Just click on one and then add storage. Okay, so now before talking about storage, let me just look if there are any questions here. There is a question from Dhanush Kumar. Is it possible to share the recording of the session? So yeah, it'll be available in our YouTube channel once the session ends. So you don't have to wait for it. You can just wait until the session is ending. So once the session ends, the live will automatically be available on our channel. Difference between on-premises and infrastructure as a service from Amit. Okay, so again, on-premises is basically the company's own private data center, right? AWS is the cloud data center. You are paying for the resources you're using to AWS. On-premises is basically your own data center, which you control. It's private to you. No other person or no other company can run their servers on this, because it's your own. But again, on-premises is more private, and it's a hassle to set up, because you have to set it up. You have to find a place, and you have to pay rent for it. You have to pay maintenance. You have to maintain the physical hardware. You have to hire people, to networking professionals and security professionals, to maintain the data center. So on-premises is pretty much a hassle. That's why AWS came up with, or other cloud providers came up with, these services, right? Yeah, so that's basically the difference. Why everyone asks for AWS CLI when we can perform same thing from console? So again, CLI is the fastest way to do things, right? So even though you do it in the console, it doesn't work like this in when you're creating an application or developing something. So if you know what exactly to do with the CLI, you don't have to open a console and then you will have to create it. But again, sometimes you would not even use a graphical user interface. You would be using a server, let's say a Linux server, which does not have GUI. So in that Linux server, you cannot open a console, right? You cannot open a browser, because it's just a command line. So in the command line, you can install the AWS CLI, and you can use the AWS CLI to create or delete or do whatever operations with AWS. And you can literally use every single service using the AWS CLI on any command line you want. Same thing is said by Anish. So performing server admin tasks using AWS CLI is efficient, time consuming, and also tasks can be automated compared to console. Yeah. So if you're running it on a Linux server, you can create a cron job, which will automatically run a particular task at a particular time, right? And you cannot do that in console. You cannot set up that in console. You can only do that if you're using a Linux server. And so EC2 is only for virtual PC, right? Yeah, a virtual server. EC2 is a service to create virtual servers. There are other servers in AWS for other uses. So there is RDS, relational database service, where you can create a database. So you can select what type of database you want, and then you can use it. Okay, so that's basically it. Um, Okay, so these are the questions for now. So I'm just going to continue. Okay, so now storage, so leave it as the same. So 8 GB of storage, you can increase the number of gigabytes if you want. You can make it 10, you can make it 20. So again, one more thing about EBS. EBS also comes under the free tier. So 30 gigabytes are free, but again it's dynamically allocated, so you don't have to worry about it. So let's say even if you create a storage of 100 gigabytes, if you only have data stored for 20 gigabytes, you won't get charged for the 80 gigabytes which is empty. You will only get charged for the 20 gigabytes, but again for the first 12 months 30 gigabytes of storage in ABS is free, so you won't get charged anything. But again 8 GB is more than enough to install Ubuntu server and also store all your data in it. So go with 8 GB. Next. Here, so this is basically an optional step. It's basically a tag. So let's say you have 100 servers and you have 10 servers running the same application. So you can name all the 10 servers something, let's say app1. You're naming all the 10 servers as app1. So now you can basically search for app1 in the EC2 console and it will only show all the servers with the same tag as it. So it's basically for easily finding your resources and understanding what resource is it. And let's say if you're creating app one here, it'll automatically be attached to your volumes as well, right? Like this. So your volume will also have a tag as app one. So you would know which server's volume is what by just looking at the tag name. That's pretty easy to understand. Okay. And then configure security group. This is one of the important steps. Security group is basically what decides what traffic should come in, what traffic should go out, right? So that's what security group is for. For now, only SSH is allowed. Only SSH is allowed. SSH basically means secure shell. Secure shell is a TCP protocol, listens on the port number 22. So it basically allows you to log in into your account, log in into your server, but also it makes sure it's secure enough. How does it make sure that it's secure enough? We're going to use a key pair. So I'll explain about key pair in the review part. So you can create a new one, or if you already have an existing one, you can just go with it. So I'm just going to create a new one. It's fine. I'm just going to type it as AWS tutorial live and review and launch. Okay. So over here, improve your instances security. So the thing is, if you see over here, anybody could log in into this instance from anywhere. So that's how I provided it. But again, nobody else could log in because I'm going to use a key pair and only I am going to have the private key. Nobody else would have the private key. So nobody else could log in into it. Okay, so you can review whatever the details you provided once and then click on launch. Okay, so now you can choose an existing key pair or you can create a new one, right? You can create a new key pair as well. But I already have a key pair in my PC. So I'm just going to choose that and let me just check what key pair is that. Yeah, I have a key pair which is tutorial key. So if you do not have a key pair, just click on create a new key pair, type the key pair name and download it. So whichever key pair you're choosing, only that will work with the instance you're creating. If you're launching another instance, and if you're choosing a different key pair, you cannot use the same key pair to log in. You'll have to use the key pair which you attached to it. So tutorial key. So before launching the instance, let me tell you how a key pair works. So a key pair is obviously a pair of keys. You will have a public key and a private key. The public key is stored in the AWS instance. So the public key is open for everybody. It's a public key, but only the private key can decrypt the public key. Okay. So now you can try with any other keys, it will not decrypt. It will only get decrypted by the private key, and the private key is only with me. Nobody else has the private key. So without the private key, nobody else can log in into this particular server. Okay, so that's what makes it secure. That's what SSH is. Okay, so now every detail is provided. I hope you guys are pretty clear. Let me just check the questions before I launch the instance. um, Linux is must for AWS. Yes. It is so see 90% of cloud servers run on Linux operating systems. So it's always a good thing to learn Linux. Okay, so any Linux distribution is fine. Learn Ubuntu or CentOS or Red Hat. Okay, so anything is fine, but again, Linux is important. How to start from Rashid? I'm not sure about it. You can just check out uh, this particular session. You can check out the session from the start. So this is how you start. That's why I'm giving out the session on how to start AWS. Which one is better, Azure or AWS from Priya? So not it's not one is not better than the other. They both are cloud services. They both are pretty much the same. They provide you the same kinds of services, but Azure is owned by Microsoft, AWS is owned by Amazon, but nothing else is different. Pretty much they provide the same services. But again, so I pretty much used AWS. uh, you can try using both and figure out which one is better for you. Okay, so but again, one is not better than the other. You can maybe, if you're a company and trying to get into cloud, you can check out with both of the sales team and check which service is cheaper for you, and then you can go with that particular service. Because again, there is not any major difference. There might be a difference in the cost, so you can check out that. Okay, cool. It's not clear visibility on video. I'm not sure. Is my video, are you guys not able to see it in HD? Okay, there is another S Summit. So please give some basics on public and private subnet, VPC, and routing. So Summit, so make sure you check out our channel next week. So I'm going to do another live next week, maybe on Tuesday or Thursday. So I'm going to do a session on VPC. So make sure you attend that. Okay. Okay, so I'll check out if there are any other questions. Right now, there are no other questions. Okay, so I'm just going to launch the instance. So it'll take some time. It'll maybe take 2 minutes to set up the instance. So let it launch. Okay, so your instances are now launching. Clicking on view instances. So you can see this, right? So it's in pending state. So it'll basically turn into available state. In that case, your instance is successfully running. And also the status checks will be on 2. So that basically means your instance is working perfectly. AWS has checked the instance as well. Okay, so we'll have to wait until it's available properly, and you will get all the details of the instance when you click it. So when I click it, you can see over here. So guys, one more thing, if you have your laptop with you, in few minutes I'll be launching a website in this particular server, and I'll basically paste this IP in the chat. You guys can open this address in your laptop, and you can also see the web page which I hosted over here, right? Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So first, it's already running. The instance is running right now. Uh, So initializing. So once it becomes 2 out of 2, that basically means your instance is completely running and you can log in into your instance. So there are multiple ways of connecting to the instance. Just give me 1 second, guys. All right. Um, Video is very poor. I guess I'm checking it in my phone also, guys. I'm getting 720p. Please check it, Prasad, if your internet, or just see if the resolution is a problem. Sandeep, GCP versus AWS versus Azure. Yeah, we'll create a video on that, Sandeep. It's again a lot of things to discuss. But again, there's not major differences. They all provide the same kinds of service. there would be some cost differences and the types of services they provide. From Topaz Kamaker, I need to learn ELB. Okay, sure, we'll also do a session on ELB. Do not worry about it. We'll do one soon. Okay, we'll do it live, or I'll create a tutorial for it. Don't worry about it. Okay, so now let me check if the instance is running. Okay, so sometimes even though it's showing it's initializing, the instance would already be running. I'm just gonna go to connect. So there are multiple ways to connect. You can connect via this in your browser itself, or you can connect using you can connect using the SSH client. So I'm going to connect using EC2 Instance Connect. So I'm going to click on connect. So I'll again share you guys the screen. Yeah, so you can see, right, I connected via this and the instance is connected now. I'm going to increase the brightness. I hope you guys can see. Right, so the instance is connected right now. Let me do a pwd. So you can see I'm in this particular directory. I'm inside the instance. This is one way of connecting, but again, do not use this format because the browser this particular way of connection is pretty slow. This is, again, it's very slow. So this is one way of connecting. I just wanted to show it to you guys. There is another way of connecting. So as I'm using a Mac, I can connect it via the terminal. But if you're using Windows, you will have to install something called Putty. So this is that service. So you can download this in Windows and you can connect it uh, to a particular server. If you're, again, you can, if you're not using Windows, if you're using Linux or Mac, you can just connect it this way. Okay, I already have the key in my system, so I don't have to do this. So now to connect to the instance, I'll have to use this particular command, which is ssh-i, the key name, then what is the username of my instance. So the username of my Ubuntu instance is Ubuntu itself. If you are creating another Linux instance, the username would be ec2-user, but as I've launched a Ubuntu server, the instance name is Ubuntu. And then this is basically the DNS name. So if I, let me just open this in another tab. So over here you can see this is a public IP address and this is the DNS name. So both are the same. The public IP and the DNS name are the same because see, public IPv4, public IPv4 DNS. So it's just that this particular DNS name will be available in the DNS and it will redirect you to this particular IP address. So that's how it works. So now one more thing I just wanted to show you guys. So now if I put in the IP address, you wouldn't see anything. So I'll just put this IP address in the chat. Okay, so right now if you try to run it in your browser, you wouldn't see anything. There won't be any web page, but keep that running. I'll tell you when to refresh it, then a website will be running in it. Okay. There is a question from, again, Bharat, what's the difference between connecting to SSH and EC1? So SSH, again, you will have to use the key pair. So this one, you don't have to use the key pair, EC2 Instance Connect, but it opens in the browser. But again, if you open it in the browser, it's pretty slow. Okay, it's pretty slow. So it's better to go with SSH. Uh, okay, so then there is, yeah, so it's still not opening, right? Yes. Okay, so this is basically what I wanted to first explain. Now I've copied this. Now let me connect to my server. So to connect to my server, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna open my terminal. Okay, so I have the terminal open. I have the command copied. But one thing I have to do is I'll have to go into the folder which has the key. Okay, so I have this, so it's here. Let me just see where it is. It's in downloads. Okay, cd downloads. So tutorial key.pem is available in my downloads folder. Okay, done. So now I'm just going to connect it. So to connect it, it's pretty simple. So again, if you have the key and if it's the first time you are doing, first do a chmod, change the basically the settings of your key so that it's able to connect to your instance. So this will basically give permissions for the key. Okay, so use that. But I've already done that, so the key is ready to use. I'm just going to put this and hit enter. So now just provide yes. Done. So I've connected to my instance via the terminal. So if I do a pwd, you can see, right, I'm inside the Ubuntu instance in my Mac laptop. Okay, so the first thing you have to do whenever you launch any Linux instance in AWS or any cloud provider is update them. So sudo apt update. So the first thing, again, you have to update them. First update the instance. Okay, sorry, terminal isn't visible. No, I'm very, very sorry for that. Isn't it visible for anybody? Yep, sorry for that. My mistake. I will share the terminal screen. Yeah, so this is the terminal screen. Okay, so what I was explaining is, so my tutorial key is in the downloads folder. So I have to open my downloads folder. So you can see here, right, tutorial key is available. Okay, so now I'll just have to copy this and copy this and paste it here. So again, if you have the key and this is the first time connecting, first run this command and then use this to connect. But if you already have the key and you're just using it, reusing it again, then you can just go directly with it because I'll already changed it. I've already modified it. So hit enter. So I've already connected to it. That's why it's showing this. If not, it'll ask for a yes to connect. So you'll just have to type in yes and enter and it'll connect. That's it. So let me just exit. See, sorry, not exit. Let me just clear. Okay, so as I told you, the first thing you'll have to do is sudo apt update. So I've already updated it. So that's why it is showing this. Okay. Okay, so the first thing you'll have to do is update. Then you can install any software you want. So before I start off with showing you the web server part, I just will answer if there are any, I'll check if there are any questions. Okay, there was one question about, okay, what about Glue and Lambda? So Glue, I'm not sure. I've not used Glue, but Lambda is basically a function as a service, which will basically let you, yeah, you can run it as code as a service. You can put your code over there and that code will be executed. Uh, yeah, so I've also explained about Lambda in this session in another. Sorry for the sound, guys. It's again my cat. Um, Okay, there's one more question, sir. Please let me know when will I get video about ELB and microservices. So I will surely do a video about ELB, the mostly by end of this month. Microservices will take some more time, Kamalkar, but first ELB will be available for you. So okay, guys. So I hope terminal is visible now. Okay. So now there are not any more questions. So I'm gonna start with the web server part. So once you launched the instance and once you updated it, sudo apt get install So install Apache 2. So if it's a Linux server, any other Linux server, you'll have to use this command sudo yum install httpd. This you'll have to install this for the same service, but this is Ubuntu, so it's sudo apt get install Apache 2. Hit enter. It'll ask for a yes or no. Yes. So the web server will be installed now. Again, I've shared the what is this? The IP address, right? I hope you guys have the IP address. Again, now even if you try now, there won't be anything. Only if I allow traffic for the particular protocol, then you will be able to see the website. Okay. So now let me just clear it. So it's installed. So I'll open the place where the web server is looking for the file. So now you can see there is an index.html file in this particular location, right? So this is the index.html file which is going to get hosted. So now to make sure it's hosted, what you'll have to do, you'll have to allow the security group. You'll have to basically allow traffic through that particular port number. So let me go back to the instance, go back to security. So right now only this protocol is allowed. So now we'll have to make sure the HTTP protocol is also allowed. So let me click on the security group, edit inbound rules, add rule, choose HTTP port number 80, let it be anywhere IPv4. Okay, so anybody could connect from anywhere. Why I'm giving this is because even you can connect. If only I'm using it, I can use my IP. It'll use my laptop's own IP address, and nobody else can connect to the website. Only I can connect. But now, as I'm giving anywhere, even you guys will connect. You will be able to connect. So now let me save the rules. Okay, so the rules are saved. Let me go back to the instance. Okay, so I'm back here. So now, guys, I'm gonna refresh it. So now you can see the website is running, right? So this is the Ubuntu default page. So now, guys, open this particular IP address in your browser. You guys will be able to see this same web page running over there. I'll also do a small change. So I'll open the web page and I'll make a minor change. You will be able to see that a change was made. Okay, so Apache 2 Ubuntu default page, it works, right? I'm going to change it works into updated. Okay, so now I've changed it. Okay, so now if I refresh it, it works, should change to updated. Okay, I don't know why it didn't change. Did I make the change? Updated. Okay, sorry, it's the title. Sorry. I changed this, guys. I'm very sorry. I typed it in the head. I'm very sorry. Small mistake. Yeah, over here. It works, update. Sorry again. Okay, I'm saving it. Okay, so now if I refresh it, now you can see it shows updated. So this is the actual web page which is running in my server. So guys, I hope it is working. Okay, so I've got a, okay, Sandeep is saying it's working. Okay, can we use Nginx instead of Apache 2? Yes, we can do that. You can just install Nginx, right? You can just type in the same command. So, sorry, you can, sorry, let me go back. Let me go to home/Ubuntu. You can basically install sudo apt get install Nginx, and it'll install Nginx for you. Okay, so I'm just going to provide no right now, but if you provide yes, Nginx will get installed, and you can use Nginx as your web server. Okay, I hope the website is opening for you guys. I'll do one more thing. I'll open. Okay, so here you have the index.html page. So let me create one more page, 1.html. I'm just gonna type this is a practice page. I'm gonna save it. Okay, done. So now let me go back here. So if I search for this, it'll still show this page. But if I search for 1.html, it'll show me the 1.html page which is within that particular directory. Even you guys can type / and type in 1.html, and this will be showing for you guys. Okay, so yeah, so this is basically the demo I wanted to show you guys. So I'll take another 5 minutes. I've answered lots of questions throughout the session. I'll take another 5 minutes and check out if you guys have any other questions and answer them. If you guys have any other questions, you can put down right now. And I hope you guys, some of you are looking at the web page. Uh, so one person has confirmed was Sandeep. If anybody else is looking into this particular website and if you're able to see it, please put down in the comment section that you are able to see it. Okay, I'm not getting any more questions, but I hope I've answered a lot of questions. Again, I'll just show you the deletion of this. So this, if I'm going to delete it now, you guys won't be able to see the website anymore. So whoever has seen the website till now, uh, you guys have seen it. So now I'm just gonna delete my instance, so you guys won't be able to see it. From Anand Lahar, I can see it. From Acharya, yes. Okay, one more question from Azam. Uh, how can I connect my personal project to AWS if I have Windows system? So you don't need any particular operating system to connect to AWS, right? You can just open aws.console.aws.amazon.com in any browser using any system you want. You just need internet and a laptop to connect to AWS. So even if you have a Windows system, I used to have a Windows system. So I used to work on AWS on a Windows system. So you just need a browser and internet. You can work with AWS. So no problem with that as well. Where can we see the system utilizations like CPU, disk, and RAM? Okay, so you want to see that. So you just have to go to the monitoring tab over here. And over here, you can see CPU utilization is provided, right? CPU utilization, you can see 4% of the CPU was utilized at one particular point of time, how much network, how many bytes came into the system, how many bytes went out of it. So disk operations, everything can be seen in the monitoring tab. I hope it's clear, Jishnu. How can we upload other HTML files from our own computer? So you can use this service called FileZilla, which is an SMTP server. So you'll have to use SMTP for it. You can use this thing, FileZilla, FileZilla client. Yeah, you can just check out YouTube tutorials for how exactly to connect to your server, but you can use FileZilla and you can upload your other HTML files into your server. So it's not a really complex task. It's pretty easy. Okay, so guys, I'm just going to delete this instance now. So to delete it, so this is stopping, this is terminating. Terminate will delete everything. Stopping will stop the instance. Then you can restart it whenever you want. I'm clicking on terminate, and it's shutting down. Okay. So once the instance is deleted, it'll show terminated, and that's it. So that would be it'll be available here for some time. Then the name of the server, all the details will also be gone. So I hope you guys enjoyed this particular session. So now I'm going to answer some of the questions which you guys have, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. Yeah, I'm going to answer some of the questions you guys have, and then I'm going to end the session. Uh, can we upload other HTML files? So this I answered. Okay, from Jishnu, can we connect our GitHub repository with the with EC2? You can do, right. So you can connect GitHub to your regular Linux operating system, right? You can just uh, run your git commands in that, and you can clone your repository into EC2. So yes, you can do that. There is no problem with it. You can just type git clone and your .git file URL, and it'll clone your repository into EC2, and you can use your GitHub repository for anything you want to do. One more question from Sandeep: which one is better, GCP or AWS? Okay, so again, the one is not better than the other. One is owned by a different company, so Google, that's Amazon, but they both provide the same service. They both provide similar functional services. There is nothing different about it. The only thing again different would be there will be some cost differences. So even though there are cost differences, you guys can still choose AWS or GCP. It's totally your call. So just do some research about both of them, and then choose whichever one you want and go with it. So there is not any major difference. There would be minor cost differences, and if you're learning it for yourself, if it's personal, then there is not even a let's say you can just go ahead with whichever one you want. Which one is easy to learn for a beginner? So I started with AWS, so I would suggest AWS, and I've not worked with GCP a lot. So AWS is pretty easy to start and pretty easy to learn. You can create this server by yourself. You just need to create an account. That's it. You don't have to have any IT experience. It's that easy to do. So guys, okay. So I think that's it. I think I've covered everything you guys need to know. I'm just gonna wait for another minute. I'm just gonna check if there are any more questions. If not, I'm gonna end the session. So also, I hope you guys enjoyed the session. So again, if you want more of this, if you want more live sessions on AWS and other like tools like cybersecurity, DS and Algo, any other services, any other technologies. So make sure you subscribe to our channel so that you will get the updates. Okay, so you will get the updates for it. And yeah, if you like the content, leave a like for this video as well. If you don't like it, please dislike it. We would make sure that we make even better content. If again you have any suggestions, so you want a video to be made on a particular topic, or if you have any queries but you are not able to answer it, ask it in the live session, please put it in the comment section. We would be addressing those questions and we would be answering them in the comment section itself. Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you for the compliment. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. Meet you in another session in next week. So we will be covering VPC. I'll be showing you how to create a simple architecture. I'll be showing you how to create a public subnet, a private subnet, and how to launch instances within it. What's the difference between a public and a private subnet? And it would be a pretty informative. It will be even more informative. So yeah, video on microservices. Yes, we'll make one soon. Rahul, we'll put that in our pipeline. Uh, yeah, also leave it in the comment section. That would be even better for us, because if it's in the live, it would be lost when the video is live. So put whatever suggestions you have, video suggestions, put it in our comment section, and so that it's always there and we will be able to see the message, uh, see the topics in chat itself. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. Meet you in another session.